Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the hardest part of the ring, Indie Underground Edition, with your host, the guy that's never taken any mess, better than the best, Teron Bishop. To my right tonight is Hollywood Jacoby, and in the hot seat, it is Mr. M.A.R.C, the guy with the biggest arms.
And most vascular man in professional wrestling.
There you go. So many veins. So many veins for young M.A.R.C.
What? Vein collector.
What?
The vein collector. Oh my gosh.
Okay, got it. The vein collector. Michael Allen Richard Clark.
That's me.
That's actually kind of sick. Let's think about it. Like, that's not the worst nickname in the world. Like that's fucking sick.
Look, Clark is everybody knows.
Where's the shirt? Where's the shirt, bro? We got to get that.
Oh, yes.
No, he's not even how much enough to get me. I'm like, hey, Clark, I want your shirt. Could you just, figure this out?
You did not say that.
Clark, no, you totally did. I have it in writing.
All
right. Well, I don't know, man. My bad.
I'm like, Clark,
you guys want me doing push-ups on the Beatles? That's fine.
I'm like, Clark, we want your shirt. Like, we want a Clark shirt. Like, that shit's amazing.
Question from the fans. Does it have sleeves?
This one does. Like the ones you buy do, of course.
Off brand for M.A.R.C.
Damn it, Clark.
I'll cut your shirt for an extra $5. There you go.
There you go. That works for me.
Oh shit. So, obviously, Clark, it's been a long time. Like, well, I mean, yeah, it's been a little bit. What's been going on? What's going on in the world of wrestling for you?
Just, doing our shows. We're kind of getting back into Saskatoon. Saskatoon's one of my favorite places to wrestle, and continuing on with that tournament. We got another Battle in the Dome coming up for PWA. We did that I guess it was a few years ago before the pandemic. We wrestled on where the Calgary Flames play on the ice. They set up the ring in the Saddle Dome there, and they're going to do it again. So that's pretty exciting. That's coming up on March 5th. That's the next big exciting thing, I'd say.
So do you guys have like shitty weather up there right now? Because, we had snow like 2 weekends in a row and I almost died.
Yeah, we got shitty weather, of course. I mean, it's snowing outside. It was snowing earlier. I just shoveled a bunch today. Yeah, it's shitty, man.
I mean, when you have arms the size of yours, shoveling isn't even a problem.
Yeah, but it's a pain in the ass, man.
Right, but I mean, fortunately for you, it doesn't take leg strength. Anyway,
we've had this conversation a lot. If anybody wants to go on my Instagram, feel free. Look at my quads. I have good legs. There's nothing wrong with them. He just likes to just pretend like I don't.
My gosh.
So Clark, any titles coming your way? Like any title matches, anything big that we can like really get behind you?
Well, up in Saskatoon, the promotion up there is called Prairie Pro Wrestling, and they are having a tournament for their heavyweight title. I'm advanced. I don't know if it's the semifinals yet or not, but we're looking for that. That's the next thing that I want to add to my gold resume.
I love it.
There you go.
I love it. So
nice.
We can't wait for that. Like shit. Like you get gold. I told you, one or two things got to happen. You got to come to the eastern side of like Canada. If you come to the eastern side of Canada, Jacoby and I come up. Like, you know what I mean? Because I want to hang out with some friends in Toronto. Like just make the trip completely an experience. Then come see a wrestling match with Clark in it. So I can harass you face to face.
We could have a live podcast too.
We could have a lot. That would be pretty fucking interesting, right? Like I would actually enjoy that.
And he could do push-ups on Tehran in real life. Like that'd be kind of wild.
Wait a fucking minute. Wait. Okay, like Clark may be bigger than me.
Hey now.
But I'm scrappy.
But
you're what, 5'6", you said?
Wow, Clark.
Just throwing facts out. I'm sorry.
And on top of that too, Tehran, your boy's got a cutter now. Okay, that cutter is something serious.
Oh, does he?
Yes. Haven't you seen? Yes. M.A.R.C's been using the cutter lately.
Oh, I've been using the cutter for years.
Yeah, come on now.
Someone
You see these
actually, I
highlights?
got saddled with that like at the beginning of my career because it was when, especially when I was a smaller guy, it was one of those things you could hit it on anybody. That was the thought behind it. And I honestly, I'm like, no, I don't want to do a move that's on TV sort of thing, right? But
Mhm.
Right.
just kind of stuck around.
See,
I mean,
he sets you up with that cutter, and then next thing you know, you're getting push upped on. Like it is what it is.
Push up on. I like that.
okay, fuck
Welcome.
both of you. Thank you. So we're here for a reason. This Indie Underground is a brainchild of M.A.R.C. in Hollywood, and I just got drug into it. Like, so you know, we're here. We're doing our Indie Underground movie review edition.
The movie guys, let's go.
The
Right.
hardest part of the watch.
Ooh, I like that.
Wow.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
we just
you.
adding brands. So
Merch
this
coming.
week, this week we're reviewing 3 amazing movies, right? We're not gonna say who chose what just yet. We'll say who chose what at the end. Like, I think that'll
Okay.
be fun. Like,
Okay.
so throughout the podcast, you can guess who chose what, but at the end, we'll reveal who actually chose things. But we will say we reviewed She's the Man, She's All That, in spring. So we have a little theme here, right? It's supposed to be romantic comedies.
Well, I didn't get the comedy. Well, okay, that might spoil it right there. But a romance, that's just what I went for.
Right, like, but you know, hey, some of us understood the assignment,
right? I
right?
blew it away. Like, picked a fantastic movie. That's not my problem.
So how we do this? Let's pick a number from 1 through 10 between you, Clark, and Jacoby, and that's the person that'll go first.
Okay. I choose number 3.
Okay.
5.
Clark,
There you go.
fucking get out of my goddamn head, dude. Like,
It's a
oh,
nice
Clark goes
even,
first.
well, you know, 5, 10, 15, but beautiful, beautiful times table to it. That's why I picked it.
You know, like Clark and I could be friends in real life, but I hate him. So, like,
Oh
it's,
my God.
You know, like,
We could be friends if you had good taste and stuff. Like,
wow.
Oh, got his ass.
Clark, see, you know, I have good taste and stuff. That's why we're not friends.
Wow.
all right,
Jesus
so what are we
Christ.
starting with? What are we starting with? Then?
You
Is
can,
that
you know what? It's Clark. It's your show. You start with
Do you-
whatever movie you want to start with.
Well, the
Dealer's
first one that I
choice.
watched of the 3 was She's the Man. That's the first one I watched. I had
Okay.
never seen this movie before.
Okay.
I have a quite a staggering list of qualms to my likes, but
Clark,
that being said,
Clark's qualms, dude. Clark's qualms. That's it.
I did enjoy the movie overall. Like, I mean, it's definitely a turn your brain off teenage
Right.
like.
Yeah,
fucking
you're not
wonderful
watching
movie.
it. You're not watching it for the Academy Award it deserves. Okay, it's
No,
not getting a. It's not getting a Criterion release anytime soon.
I was shocked that this movie had a dolly zoom in it.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, I was
Yep.
stunned when I saw. I even wrote it down. I'm like, a dolly zoom in this fucking movie? Are you serious? Like, wow.
Hey, you got to put it on the reel.
I'm trying to remember. I wrote down bag shot. There must have been somebody getting sacked that I enjoyed.
Fair. Fair.
I don't usually like that though, but I wrote it down, but I can't think of what it was. When I say it, I'm like, oh, there was something, but I can't remember it. Anybody recall? No?
The bag shot.
That seems like a Clark thing.
Yeah, but it was like more intricate, and I feel like it was a multi-person one or something. Man, comment down below. There you go. YouTube algorithm, whatever, if you can remember what I'm talking about. And I also wrote Vinnie Jones because I like Vinnie Jones.
Vinnie Jones,
Hell yeah.
homie. Hell fucking yeah, Vinnie Jones.
Hell yeah. Okay, I'm trying to remember. Oh, who was the main guy in She's the Man? Channing Tatum, right? And there was someone else.
Channing Tatum.
A very young I didn't even know he was acting back then. That's wild.
Yeah, I believe it's if it's not his first movie, it's like one of his like first 2 films that he ever did.
Step Up was his
Right.
first.
That was the
movie.
claim to fame.
Mhm.
That was like right around that time too, 2006, 2005, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. So I have this guy's a doof. I'm assuming I'm talking about the original boyfriend.
Justin, good old Justin.
Yes. And then she's like, I taught you how to kiss. And then they proceed to kiss like each other's chins, like the upper lip, chin, very movie kiss. That just like right after she said that like,
Yeah, you know.
and then I also have in capital letters dump him. And then I also have good right after because that happened pretty
Yeah.
much instantly right after all that shit with him.
Yes, I love it.
And then her mom was like saying how somebody was hot and like, should I date him? Like, because she made that comment, like, why don't you
Oh.
date him, mom? Mom's like, should I? Like, what? Are you fucking kidding me?
There are so many of those like passerby comments where you have to like double take, be like, did I just hear something like that? Like,
And there's no way this kid has a Beck poster in their room. Come on.
oh, what? No, come on. He totally does. He's got the
They had-
OAR posters. He loves
it wasn't
music.
just one poster. There was like 3 of them actually. There was more than one for sure.
Well,
He
somebody
loves
on the
music.
production team was a fan.
Yeah, true. He just had the poster at his house. It was like
Right.
they're getting Beck's getting his win today.
I also like how the phone was like hung up and they pick it up and then they say bye and then they hang it up again. That was an
Pretty
odd.
terrible. That was cringy.
You
Like,
remember
the
that?
extra.
You remember
yes, that sticks out of my mind. Very cringy.
that? Paul's hairdresser has a faux hawk.
Yes, and that actually leads into another question about Paul that I'll present when I talk about it.
Oh, also the principal sucked his own dick in Scary Movie 2. So
He did, but
as soon as I saw this guy, I'm like, this fucking guy, like, god damn it.
it's David
I don't
Cohen,
know his
dude.
name,
He's
Jason
legend.
something.
No,
Who is
it's David Cross.
David Cross. Okay, there you go. That's all I can think of.
He was,
with
to be
him.
fair, in Scary Movie 2, he's in a wheelchair, so his spine is like almost rendered useless. So he can just kind of do that.
You're defending this guy sucking his own dick.
Hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Okay.
Are you
Times are tough.
Marilyn Manson? You took out some of your ribs there, Jacoby, or like what?
I mean, I've looked into. No, I'm just kidding. No, not me.
I know this is a little off topic, but think about that rumor. You guys obviously know what rumor I'm talking about. Isn't that wild that it's like worldwide?
Yeah. Well, do we know if it's? I mean, it's a rumor, right? I always consider it more of an urban legend.
I
that's
consider
like
it an urban legend. It's
That's
urban
a pretty
legend.
powerful schoolyard rumor that I remember hearing when I was a kid in school. It was like Marilyn Manson took out some of his ribs so he could suck his own dick. Like you guys heard the same thing in your schools.
What kind of? Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait.
It's like every locker room conversation, right?
What?
Just like,
Why? The question is, why are we even talking about that at school? Why are we talking about Marilyn Manson? None of that adds up to me. Like,
because Jacoby wants to suck his own dick.
Well, no, I mean that's not necessarily true.
Look, man.
But
like,
for those that can, I say, hey, good for you. You know, good on
I
you.
don't. Why? Are we reviewing porn?
That's the next.
Right, let's get
that's the next one.
Also, step 1 of soccer: how to learn soccer. Overhead bicycle kick. That's like the first thing he teaches her. Like
that's not legit.
It's the Pele all day.
Yeah,
What are you guys
no.
talking
there you go.
No.
And then her changing in an outhouse and in a bouncy house. Like, come on.
And in that whirly ride too, with the kid in the cabin with her.
Yeah, that's right. I also have one that I don't really remember, but old guy chewing gum, not gum. What?
Yes, that comment made no sense to me either because he's waiting in line. The old man's waiting in line for the kissing booth, and the one girl tells Amanda Bynes' character, she's like that old guy. He's been waiting for a while. He's not chewing gum, and I don't know what that means. Is it like he's chewing? Yeah. Is he supposed to be like chewing tobacco, or does he not have teeth? Like what's going on?
Chewing tobacco is pretty. That's a good call actually. See you on the soccer field is the least threatening thing I've ever heard in my life for a fight. I'll see you on the soccer field. Like you're gonna, well, what are you gonna do? You're gonna fight them? Like, come on.
And well, kinda.
I also have like, okay, here now we're getting into the porn for you, T. Prove you're not a girl, or prove you're a girl. So then she like just flashes everybody, and same with prove you're a boy, and the guy just shows his dick. Like these are underage kids. Like what? Like why is there mandatory nudity in these movies? Like of course you don't see it, but like what? When that happened, I'm like, what am I watching? Like this girl's 14 and she's just flashing everybody, and everybody's like, sweet. Like what?
Okay, so let's give some context to what's happening right now with Clark. Clark saw this and literally in real time had a meltdown in our group chat about these titties and
let
dick.
me give a little context. So in She's the Man, Amanda Bynes dresses up as her brother because she wants to play on boys soccer team. Her brother's away for 2 weeks playing music in London or whatever. So she's fooling everybody into thinking that she's her brother and she's a boy, and she makes the soccer team and she's playing soccer, and these other kids have a hunch that she's not who she says she is. And they confront her brother, ends up coming back and playing the big soccer game, and they confront him on the field and they say, oh, he's a girl. I believe it was that he did it first and then she did it. Yeah. So they say he's a girl, and he's like, no, I'm not. I can prove it. And he pulls down his pants, and that's his proof right there. No argument, just pulls down his pants. And everybody's like, oh, well, I guess you were wrong. And then she ends up switching with him. And then they're like, oh, prove you're a girl sort of thing. And then she flashes her boobs. And these are like high school kids. Like, what?
I wish to love someone as much as both of them love the person that they're trying to convince that that's their gender to, right? Like, think about that. Like, she was willing to flash the tatas in front of all these people, including her parents, because of Channing Tatum. Like, think about
all
that.
The adults,
that's love. That's love. I mean, come on, guys. Like,
I mean, everybody about to catch a charge in that motherfucker. Everybody done seen some underage titties. And then also, let's just keep it a buck. This shit only happened in private schools, because in public schools, ain't nobody showing their titties.
Yeah, that's
Last
true.
but not least, I am sorry, gentlemen, but this is some white people shit, because ain't nobody doing that shit. This is some white people shit. Canadian white, American white people. Y'all do some out of control ass shit. Like, I don't even understand. You would never see, my mama would whoop my ass. Like, if I went out there and showed my dick to the world, she was, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you know,
you mean the flashing? I thought you meant the whole movie in general, but yes, that too. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. The whole movie is white people shit too. And we're gonna get there. I haven't got my turn yet. When I get my turn, I'm gonna tell you why it's white people shit. However, just that part, I'm just like, yo, first of all, I'm about to slap my daughter. Why? Where's the daddy? Okay, where's her daddy?
He was in the crowd watching.
He should have been on that field slapping the shit out of her ass. That's what he should have been doing.
Yeah, he's too busy trying to get back his ex-wife. Because for some reason, all of that got them back together. Like, that's the weird part.
The other part, before Clark even finishes, everybody is horny in this movie. Like, I've never seen so many horny people. The daddy trying to get back with the mama. These kids trying to get their freak on.
Eunice, baby, Eunice.
Everybody.
Yeah, Eunice, go Eunice. But like, come on, as if you're not like hitting up that blonde girl. Like, she's the best one in the whole movie.
True.
Come on, Channing. She wasn't interested in Channing Tatum.
Well,
but she was interested in Amanda Bynes dressed as a boy.
I mean,
she likes his feminine side. Okay.
And also, Channing Tatum's not everybody's flavor. Like, his face is.
Oh, is this the Channing Tatum conversation you want to have? I mean,
I'll pass.
Okay. Oh,
I also have how many Sum 41 posters. So obviously somebody's group at the very end had multiple Sum 41 posters. I do remember this. I don't remember whose group, but as if.
Oh, I remember. That was the dorm room. That was Channing Tatum's dorm room. It had In Too Deep tour.
It's No, and it's not high school. It's either private school or college or
No,
I think
it's a private high school. They're like
It's
all
high
all of
so
them. Yeah, all of them are seniors.
yeah, they wore like uniforms and stuff like that. But like again, look at Channing Tatum like a grown ass man. What senior look like that? I need you to understand something. Jacoby looked like he was fucking 9 until he was fucking in the 11th grade. Okay, then he had facial hair and it pushed him up to 16. Who looks like Channing Tatum in the fucking 12th grade?
That's basically how I feel about Amanda Bynes. She looked like she was 12 this movie. Like,
During this movie, Channing Tatum was 26 years old.
oh
Disgusting.
my god.
Think about
Wow.
that. So it's all going well so far. Tehran, please explain, and not to cut M.A.R.C. Do you have anything else for us from the qualms?
No, that was my list. That was my list. That
Did you?
So
What did you like about? Did you at least laugh? Like, did you enjoy yourself as you turned your brain off?
I enjoyed it. It was definitely like, this one was close to the 2 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an hour 45, hour 50, around the same.
Because I was thinking like this one's a little long for what it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, turn your brain off. I enjoyed it. I didn't dislike the movie. Let's put it that way. It wasn't a slog, so.
Yeah, those montages do take up a little bit too much time, in my opinion. But hey, they got the budget; they want to put shit in there.
So I get the tag in now for my part on She's the Man.
You have the hot tag, my friend.
Hot tag, boom, bam. I didn't even hold a fucking rope. Fuck it. I'm tagging in. Fuck the rest. So
Oh my God.
Look, listen. Amanda Bynes, a hot mess, right? A hot mess now, kind of a hot mess then. But let me tell you something. As a gay man that watches a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race, whoever put her in that wig needs to be fired. Okay, like that is not the lace front that you want, honey, at all whatsoever. She did not like a boy. Like she didn't even.
You don't know what she looked like. That's the best part.
I mean, I was like the whole time in my mind, I'm like they, because I had no idea. Like I was just like, you know what?
That's fair.
Mm-mm.
That's fair.
No.
Yeah, treat them as fluid.
Here,
Absolutely.
They almost.
Jonathan.
Sorry. Her and Channing Tatum almost kissed once. Does that mean Channing Tatum is gay because he believed her to be a boy the whole time?
They did almost kiss during that spider thing. That scene. You're right.
Ain't nobody
think about it, but ain't nobody gay, dude.
No, we're not trying to have that gay moment. Let's talk about Paul, the hairdresser. Like I'm still on that. Okay.
Okay, good.
If
this is where I wanted to go.
Right. If you gonna have a gay best friend, y'all, I would never let y'all go out in public looking like that. Like I just wouldn't do it.
I bet you would, so you could drag us later on the internet.
That's why I said this guy has a faux hawk and he's a hairdresser. Like if I walk into my hairdresser, he has a faux hawk, I'm walking out.
If anybody comes to you with a faux hawk trying to cut your hair, you say no. Like you say no, no, thank you. I'll go to Supercuts. Like that's what I'll do. I'll just pass.
That's the type of guy you find at Supercuts, Buck.
No. Like you find that girl that was in high school that was like the head cheerleader that just couldn't make it off of blowjobs off of OnlyFans. That's what you want.
What about the hair cuttery?
That's a whole nother level. The same girls at hair cuttery probably selling feet pics on OnlyFans.
Oh my God. What about the Walmart beauty salon? That Walmart beauty salon. Come on.
First of all, I don't do Walmart. So all in all, this movie was like it was a recycled Shakespeare play. Like right?
Yes. It's based on the 12th Night.
The 12th Night, right.
Mm-hmm.
The casting of the movie, it was pretty, it was good. You could see what they were trying to do here with trying to get like hot actors at the time into a movie just to get some quick cash. Channing Tatum's acting skills come out of a cereal box, so nothing he was doing was convincing to me, not even running from a spider. So it was just very cringy. The idea was good. It was cute if you're like 13, like, and you don't know any better. Like I'm an adult. I know better. And I'm not spending $13 to see Channing Tatum make out with Amanda Bynes. Like, I'm just not doing it. Like
that's sort of how I felt too. I'm like, this is clearly for like a 12-year-old girl.
Right. if I'm gonna give my money to something like this, I'd rather give it to charity because that's just better use than giving it to this movie.
Okay.
Rewatchability on this one here. I don't know if I would watch it. You know, like you maybe watch it once, maybe twice again, like 10 years later. You just never look at it again.
Honestly, I would watch it again to clear up my notes because my notes are a little hasty. So I'm like, what does this mean? I wonder. So that's where I would rewatch it, but it doesn't have rewatchability for me.
Not at all. Like the I mean, I understand like the soccer part of it, starting off with a basketball kickoff gate is just fucking crazy. Like, you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck how good you are. Like, no. And you know, like right now in 2022 and 2020, you know, like whatever. I would like to see this movie remade. Just because I think it could give a better image of female empowerment than it did in its current state. You know, like it's just missing some things that the message in the movie could be just so much better just if they had a second chance and without Amanda Bynes. Without
I see like the message that they're trying to portray that, you know, girls are equal or if not better and stuff like that. Cause there's a lot of lol, you're a girl, you can't win the soccer game.
Right.
Blah, blah, and then she wins the soccer game. But I agree they could have done it in a better way for sure.
Right. And I mean, they did have some shining moments in there. Shout out to Toby and Eunice. Like, I'm about all of that. I'm living for Toby and Eunice. Like, get it. Like all day long.
Legend has it that they're still making out in that field. Like all these years later.
Eunice knew what she wanted, and she wanted some Mandingo, and she got her some. She was licking her lips and everything.
Man, she wanted Channing Tatum though too.
Huh?
And Sebastian. She wanted anybody that she could get something from. She was a fan.
Don't worry about it though. She got her some Toby. And then they also had a little, you know, cute little, you know, back then in those movies there, they would always try to dash in a little LGBT moment just for a little spotlight. And it was cute, whatever, who cares? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you saw that with the pocket square at the debutante ball.
Right. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Get out of my face. So
overall, pardon me?
What'd you say?
What was the moment?
So at the debutante ball, when Amanda Bynes is walking down the runway with Channing Tatum, they look over to the side and you can see all their friends at the table. And Paul is fixing the pocket square of the other friend that Channing Tatum had, not Toby, Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So he's like fixing it, you know, kind of like a hey, like so.
Right. The guy that played Paul, though, I will say he's kind of cute, and I would smash. Like, you know, like in real life, like, you know what I mean? Even though he does B-rate movies, I would probably
Was that the first boyfriend?
Huh?
No, Paul the hairdresser.
Paul the hairdresser.
What?
Right. No, not with the faux hawk. Not with the faux hawk.
Oh, I don't remember who Paul is. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't.
The hairdresser. The hairdresser is Paul without the faux hawk, though. The guy with the faux hawk is Paul.
Yeah, so the guy with the faux hawk, that's exactly what it's like. You bang the guy with the faux hawk.
Not with the faux hawk. Not that. Like outside of the faux hawk thing, he would get smashed. Like that's
Paul.
Right.
Paul.
Over Channing Tatum.
What's that?
Over Channing Tatum. Right.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, most definitely. I don't like
for guys with faux hawks.
Not at all. Like I just don't like perfect features make me want to throw up. Like, you know what I mean? Give me some flaws. Like, you know.
I gotcha.
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, there are flaws all throughout this film, so I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Right, but Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 43. I mean, I would stick with that 43. And just on a gay scale, it gets like fucking a 1. Okay, because
look, you're crazy.
Paul, that wig, the wig is it's the wig for me. The wig threw the whole fucking situation off. They threw
I was a bit lower than 43 in my opinion.
Jeez.
I mean, that's not saying I don't enjoy movies that are in the 20s and 30s. I think Rotten Tomatoes is trash anyways. When you have when you have Nightmare on Elm Street has 95 and The Departed has 90, you can't tell me Nightmare on Elm Street is 5% better than The Departed. Like,
it's fair. Well, I mean, we can save that for another podcast. I have a lot to say about The Departed.
Tag.
So, I'm in. Spike Dudley has entered the match. As we've talked about, this is a Shakespearean play where nudity and flashing is expected because it's Shakespeare, right? So it is what it is. It was an homage to the source material. But let's stay on the topic of Paul, please. How old is Paul, and why is he hanging out with high school seniors or high school juniors? It's not clarified.
First of all, that was my question too. Like,
because he's gone through beautician school, right? He's obviously gone through beautician school. He's obviously a whore in his salon because people be coming up to him, he smacks their hand and shit. Which, hey, we support Dingle on this podcast. Shout out to Ricky. And then of course, like, you have he plays like this weird role where he kind of like choreographs almost everything to make Sebastian believable, like Amanda Bynes as Sebastian believable. Like, that pizzeria scene is so funny to me because he's literally mimicking everything like a director would, like, like super into the scene as like he's sending her friends in there to like basically get swerved by Amanda Bynes. And then, of course she breaks up with Monique, and it's hilarious because like he just calls her ugly. The thing that gets me about this movie a lot when on rewatches and stuff is how Amanda Bynes, like her guy voice and how bad it is. Like, and like dudes around her are just like, yeah, whatever, because nobody really cares because like we're all dumb and like why would we believe anything otherwise? But like it's those little isms that she does with it too, because like every time she's Channing Tatum, it's always like, hey, brah. Or hey, home, or not homie. She always calls him G Money or Big Dog or something, and I'm just like, this is a lot. Like, let's calm down here. One of the notes that I always have for this movie is like, why is soccer such a big deal? Like, soccer in the United States is really not that big of a deal, like ever. Only during the like Olympics, or the World Cup, whichever. It's like that's when it's only ever good. Secondly, if their program's gonna get cut, she can't, like, obviously she did what she did, right? She wanted to try out for the boys team. They wouldn't let her 2 weeks before, that kind of thing. So she, like, instead of transferring to the other school to go on their girls team, she's like, oh no, I'm going to go to Cornwall or I'm going to fight, play against the men on Cornwall, which is fine. But I feel like it's a lot of extra steps. I understand it's a movie nitpicky, but it just seems like there's a lot of extra steps there.
I have a question. Was she part of her brother's school, or was that a separate school than hers?
So they mentioned early on that Cornwall, which is where Amanda Bynes was going originally, the rival school, her brother had been kicked out of there previously and had been kicked out of a bunch of different schools in the area. So then they sent the brother for his senior year over to Ilaria, right? That's what it's called, the other high school that they end up going to.
And the school, like her school, doesn't miss her. She's just MIA for 2 weeks.
She just no-showed for 2 weeks. But to be fair, the brother almost did that too.
For soccer, that's kind of funny you bring that up. But wasn't that around the time like Beckham and all that stuff came out? Maybe that's this.
It could. You could have a very, very good point. My reasoning's a little bit different, and that's that soccer is a cheap sport to shoot. Like, there's not a lot of stuff to rent equipment-wise, and uniforms you can just make them. And that kind of thing. Amanda Bynes also really bad soccer player. Let's be honest, like bad soccer player. Like the brother's really bad too.
If you're pulling up these kinds of qualms, the fact that Sebastian returned and everybody was like, "Yep, this is Sebastian, foot taller, whatever, blah blah blah."
Hey,
no problem.
Hey now, that's that disbelief, okay? Suspension of disbelief on the fraternal twins, okay? That's the difference. The difference there.
That Channing Tatum's like are playing soccer with this person. Like, and all these people have been playing soccer for the last 2 weeks, and you'd think you'd notice that someone's like considerably built different and whatever else, but that's a little
again. The gay friend did not clock that terrible ass wig. Like, come on, girl.
Yikes.
The end. That's all you have to say. Wig, the end. That's it. None of the
You're
girls.
like gay friend being friends with high school kids, gay friend in the wig.
Right. You know, like that's what we are. And then those girls were real stylish and like, you know, they knew what the fuck was going on. And still nobody clocked that wig. Come on. Also, that black
It's a
girl wanted
boy.
a black girl.
Well, that's not true. The principal clocked the wig. The principal knew about the wig. He didn't know that she was hiding her hair beneath
To
it.
be fair, she was pulling it off when he caught her. He
Well,
didn't
no,
clock
but-
it just cause.
No. Oh, I see what you're saying. That's
Like
yeah.
she was scratching and she was lifting it up or moving it around, and that's
Right.
when he caught her, right? Like it's
You
not
know-
like, oh, I think you're wearing a wig.
The best part of this movie, actually, and I forgot to even mention that when I was talking about it, is David Cross. Like, he's delightful.
David Cross was pretty good. I
Yeah.
also really like when she's scratching with the wig and he's like male pattern baldness. Like what?
Yeah.
He's like,
David Cross.
I don't.
Is,
He said, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm also losing some on the top of
I'm
mine.
sitting
Like
on top or something, yeah, and he's just completely bald. So
he's just, I don't know. His character, I feel like had Amanda Bynes as Sebastian gone to him and kind of explained the situation, he would have probably let it slide. Another thing too, anybody can join the soccer team at this school. Like anybody. Like she literally didn't do push-ups for like the last bit of the tryout, and she still made the team. Like visibly, you can see her on the ground, and it's just whatever.
Soccer's not popular, so I mean, they take what they can get. Even though they have this big storied rivalry with this other team, where this guy made this other guy cry.
Which, in 2006, that's a big deal. Okay, you can't just make other dudes cry. Let's see, where else do I want to go? I wanted to go to, okay, how do we feel about Monique in this chat here? Do we think that, because I remember somebody was arguing that they actually felt bad for her over these past 2 weeks, like the mental games that she must have been putting herself through about getting dumped by somebody that's not her boyfriend to find out that her boyfriend's been gone. Like that's just,
To be fair,
a
she
lot.
didn't agree that she got dumped though, because she got dumped by Amanda Bynes in the pizza parlor, and then she just like, we're not through, blah blah blah. And then I can understand the mental games. I was gonna say like, there's no way this girl's dating Sebastian. She also looks like she's mid-20s, and Sebastian,
right?
shit.
I also kind of feel bad for Olivia until I don't. So I wrote that down here too. Like Olivia, it's like, okay, she's also getting games played, kind of like Sebastian's not really flirting with her, but she obviously has a crush on Amanda Bynes as Sebastian for her own reasons, and whatever else. But like, she immediately throws herself at the real Sebastian, and then all of a sudden, it's like, hey, you should meet my brother now that he attends this school finally, and now they have like a relationship over nothing, over a lie. Like, I'm like, oh, that's kind of tough to sell.
That's how you get set up with bad dick. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
ooh,
she about to get dick down by the wrong dude. I mean, it's a whole different, it ain't even a dude. This, you know what this is? Somebody, you know what? Somebody call Neve from Catfish. Call this motherfucker.
the problem I have with that is because it's like, oh, you like me, Amanda Bynes, you should still date my brother because you like the name Sebastian and the thought of a guy, I guess, basically.
The thought of a guy that writes song
No,
lyrics.
she did not like Sebastian. She is clearly fucked up in her head. She ain't even fucked up in her head. Go on there and get you some pussy, girl, because that's what you want. Like,
well, she liked Amanda Bynes. I'm just talking personality-wise. Like,
and I'm saying she likes some pussy. Like, we're on the same page,
Tatum likes
Clark.
guys then, because he almost kissed fucking what he thought was a boy in the spider, fucking getting scared of spider.
I mean, you know, whatever. Like, y'all can keep him on the straight team. I don't want.
I mean, we've all been there, been scared of a spider with our best friend.
I'm gay, and I ain't never jumped in my best friend's arms over no spider. Like, I'm just letting you know.
That's what I'm saying. Channing Tatum has some unresolved things going on.
We can call him and see if he now mind you, my best friend had jumped in my arms over a spider. You know what I mean?
Oh, geez.
What am I gonna do about it? Like, you know what I mean? They tell you to go kill it.
That's where that line is, right? What's the line?
I
All
mean,
right.
you know, it's what it is.
Two
Robert,
All
two
right.
more things. Two more things, and then we can move on. Are kissing booths still a thing in 2022, despite the
No,
pandemic?
what?
Yeah, that was
Our
is
kissing
that
booth 2006.
yeah, like that was always like that's it's a play reference, but at the same time, I'm like, bro, like I've never seen a kissing booth before, but like here we are, and all these debutantes are supposed to just kiss dudes for money. Like that's kind of crazy to me. Like the
Welcome to
fact that
like
that was ever an
cliche films.
idea.
I've seen lots of other movies with them in it too.
But
Let's be honest.
but like what I'm trying to argue is like it's just a weird concept. Like the person that came up with that must have been a pimp. Like it's literally the same type of thing. I don't know. It was
It's
weird.
probably more like the old, like I hate to say it like this, but in the olden days, like Shakespearean times and stuff, women are more viewed as property and stuff. So maybe it's
That's
something like
fair.
that.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean, you
you're
know,
absolutely right. Based on dated
the
material.
sad part is like kissing booths, glory hole. What's the difference? Like, you know what I mean? Same, same concept. Like, you know,
Yikes!
like
Come on.
it's
Are
just
we
what
gonna
is.
make an R-rated rom-com and just like take all a good wig and a glory hole and
But you got look money, okay?
Oh my god.
What?
It's a,
What? What?
a train wreck.
You want to? I bet you that shit made money.
People
what
love to
the
watch trashy
movie?
people. That's what it
Right.
is.
That's it.
You know?
Have you not watched Too Hot to Handle on Netflix? They're all trash.
Oh my god.
Like I have.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Last thing. So the fallout from this film is that everybody lives happily ever after, except for two people. Malcolm and the principal are both expelled and fired for sure. After what happened at that soccer game, like get that shit out of here. Like literally, the
I was gonna
principal's
say,
definitely
does
getting
Monique
fired.
live happily ever after? She doesn't really have a resolution, does she?
Did you just no? Monique ends up going with Justin, but it's foreshadowed at the debutante ball that she's not happy with him because he's a shitbag, as we've seen. But like for me, it's like the principal's really cool until he's not, until he stops the game to be like, everybody show your tits. Like it's just like, whoa, you know?
I agree.
Like what was the
What?
plan?
And the
Like,
tattletale kid with him, like
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Get that kid out of school. That kid's a stalker, first of all. They probably raided his room, saw that Olivia stuff, and was like, nah, this kid's gotta go before he kills her.
This movie, would this movie stand? Let me ask you guys this right now. Would this movie stand the test of time?
I mean, I think it would, but I also don't think I think it would people would be upset with it because it could be done better with a more centralized theme, especially with like hot button topics today, such as gender fluidity and stuff. It wouldn't be like this. What would happen,
do you mean stood the test of time, like it's still known in another 20 years? Like no.
yeah, I don't think it'll be known in 2042.
I'm gonna say that like you're gonna ask this question, all these movies, they're not gonna be known in 2050, you know.
She's All That might be as like a novelty, but my generation didn't really
She's
know
All
this
That.
movie.
She's
I
all
barely
that.
know She's All That as is.
Well,
Fair.
Clark, we rewinding. We'll go back to you. She's All That. Go.
We're going on She's
Ooh.
All That. All right. I like the cast. I was shocked to see how many people
Dude.
were in this movie.
Absolutely. That was the first thing I wrote down. I was like, this cast is like an all 90s cast, and like a lot of them still go today. Like Kieran Culkin is the little brother, and like Kieran Culkin is now like an Emmy nominated actor for Succession, and he's so good in Succession.
But you also have like Lillard and Prince Jr. They're massive in the 90s too, which
Oh yeah, Matt Lillard, Stu Macher, right from Scream, dude. Like
yeah, absolutely. Although I think Paul Walker's better looking than Freddie Prinze Jr., so I don't know why everyone fawns over Freddie Prinze Jr. over Paul Walker, but
yeah, that's a keen observation. I was thinking the same thing.
To cast Gabrielle Union. You had
Before Bring It On, right?
Yeah. Before Bring It On, you got the guy from the detective show. Jesus. With the white guy that was on USA, the Psych, the dude from Psych. Yeah,
the black guy from Psych.
Yeah,
Dula
Hill, I think his name is. Yeah, Lil Kim. You had Usher. I mean, this fucking cast was banging.
Yeah, all out of nowhere, Usher's there, and he didn't play Confession Part 1, which I was like, come on, like, what are you doing?
Right.
Let's self-promote here.
I really liked that scene when Prince Jr. and I don't know what her Taylor are arguing or breaking up or whatever it may be. And I love how the camera goes back and everyone's silently watching, and once they stop, that everyone starts talking again. I really like that.
Mhm.
I thought that was neat.
That's
Also, them
basically high
joking.
school.
I also wrote down Lainey's cute. Come on, like when they're picking her and they show her dropping books or whatever it is. It's like, come on, even nerded up, she's like a pretty good looking girl.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, let's be honest here. And then I also wrote Harvard eye roll because he's going through all his acceptance letters for universities, and it's like Harvard, Princeton, like, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I also really like the dad's Jeopardy answers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was cracking me up.
Those were really good. Like he just like I thought that was a decent gag for that. I thought that was really good too.
And they're like not even fucking close. That's the best part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all terrible. Like he's
great.
fucking it up, like left and right.
But I like how he's half paying attention. He's doing something else. He just confidently like this answer, and then it's not even close, and he doesn't even flinch or nothing.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He's like, well, at least I guessed. Like he never wants to have the glass half empty. He always wants to know.
You got to throw it out there, I guess.
My boy only deals in absolutes.
That shit was funny though. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed this movie actually as well. And funny enough, though, as I was watching it, I'm like, I've seen this movie actually. This is quite familiar. So,
So I had never seen this movie. Kind of not trying to steal anybody's thunder here, but I had never seen this movie. I'd actually seen a spoof parody of this film before watching the original called "Not Another Teen Movie," which is this premise. This premise, the entire thing centered around this plot line, and then it has like a bunch of different references from other, teenage coming of age films and stuff. But like, yeah, like so I kind of knew what was going to happen in the movie before it came to like know what was going on. But anyway, what other qualms did you have with the film?
Those were my likes actually, and then my qualms, my actual qualms. I had every girl looks like a girl. Taylor looks like a woman. The way they like dressed her up to make her like so beautiful and so. But I mean, I guess saying that out loud, it's not necessarily a qualm because I understand they probably did that on purpose to accentuate her and make her seem that much more bigger than all the other girls there. And also the fact that Freddie Prinze Jr. is cool. He's like the coolest guy in school, and she's dumping him. Like she cares about that status. She cares about all that. Even though she hooked up with Matthew Lillard, like I feel like she would lie about that and be like, oh, and just continue dating him. Especially her dream to be prom queen, the perfect couple, whatever. Like I don't know. And then also she's like, I guess she's more fawning over Matt Lillard about him being a reality star, but I'm like, Matthew Lillard. Also, how old is he? He's a fucking creep, eh?
Thank you. I have that written down here. I'm like, is Brock Hudson a pedophile? Like
he's like one of those, those 23-year-old guys that goes to high school parties and hits on high school girls, man. Like one of those slum guys. Like, which I mean, I guess I appreciate a little bit because he's a piece of shit in the movie. That's what he's supposed to be, right?
Right. Him dancing to Rick James, I thought was really funny. But other than like nobody else is into it, and it's just him. Like I was like
by himself. Yeah.
He definitely peaked.
When Freddie Prinze Jr. went into the wherever Lainey worked, and she's with a customer, and he just interrupts this customer. Lainey, I need to talk to you. Like nobody's gonna do that. Like you're gonna wait. Let's be honest.
The customer's like, excuse me, miss. Like he's like super nice for no reason.
And she even like leaves the customer. She's not even like fucking wait or nothing. She leaves the customer to go talk to him. Like also that those bullies that were picking on Spencer, is that his name?
Yeah, the little brother.
Put his pubes on the pizza, and then Freddie Prinze Jr. all cool, sticking up for him, making the kids eat the pizza. I would sooner get knocked out before I have to eat a pube pizza. Like you're not telling me to eat a pizza without me scrapping for it. Like you were shoving that in my face, my dead body, like that. I'm not eating.
Yeah.
I also was
no.
really annoyed during the dance when the friend caught wind of Paul Walker's true plan and he was running around and like I understand he's out of shape and whatever, but how out of breath he was, it was just overkill for me. Just spit it out, man. Like nobody's that out of breath, and you're that desperate to tell somebody. You're like, Paul Walker's he's planning on taking you to the hotel room. He's just gonna fuck you, and then you're gonna be able to. Oh, and also the fact that Freddie Prinze Jr. smoothed everything over in like 2 sentences when he went to Lainey's house.
That's
like
fair.
at the end of the day, like you're shitty. Like this movie is based on a bet that you could make her popular enough to become homecoming queen, and you did, or well, not quite actually, but
She was in the final 2.
She was mad about it and left, and then he went back to her house and waited for her, which was kind of funny because he right before he was phoning hotels looking for her. So then I guess after trying 2 hotels, he's like, I can't find her. I'll just go to her house and wait.
Right.
So
he's like
waiting with the dad. And then he takes her, they go outside, it's all romantic, and he says a couple nice things, but he just says 2 sentences, and then Lainey's like, okay, that's fine. I know I was a bet, but like, I don't know. I feel like if someone did that to me, I'd be more mad, and it's not going to be 2 sentences, and I'm, fine with it now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, and nudity at the end with more teenage nudity. Although yes, Freddie Prinze Jr. they said he was 18 in this movie, but he got up for his graduation and was totally naked, and everybody thought it was funny. He's showing there's no way everyone graduating with him is 18 years old. I didn't graduate when I was 18, so
right. Yeah, I mean her little brother's in the crowd.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect example.
There's the kid. Too bad his brother like idolized him for no reason.
Now
like,
he's gonna be too.
Yeah, now he's like, I love him even more. Like,
but of course, like Freddie Prinze Jr. is just perfect and just hiding it. He's so smart. Like I said, my qualm was like, he has a letter from Harvard and all these, every university. That little side of him and his dad just really fell flat with me because it felt so just. We need him to have an issue for some reason. His dad's pressuring him for something, which we never saw in the movie itself. It was all hearsay from Freddie Prinze Jr. That just kind of, I don't know, that felt a little rushed and a little last minute to me, but I did enjoy the movie more than the other one, I would say. But this one's also more, it's not a teenage movie. It is, but it's not a 12-year-old movie. It's like, if I'm 16, 17, this isn't so bad.
True. There, I'll kind of take the tag here because I want to add on some different qualms. The first one that I have that stood out to me the most is like, what's the deal with with Freddie Prinze Jr.'s sister? Like, is she a hoe? Like, is she kicked out of school? Like, what is her deal, bro? Because like every scene that she's in, she has like this odd mystique, and then he ends up taking her to prom, and I'm like, you're the most popular kid in school. You couldn't you don't have any other friends you could take to prom, like, or you couldn't just go stag.
Sister?
Yeah.
For some reason I thought that was like something dumb, like Lainey's friend or something. She did Lainey's makeup too, right?
Yeah. That's like the second scene she's in.
Friend. That's his sister. Oh, that makes sense because the first time you see her, they're in the house talking about it, right?
Right, and then she like dips. She's like, "Don't tell him I was here," and then dips. And I'm like, is she like? She's either A, skipping school, or B, she's like not going to college. Like, I don't really know her story. There's a lot to be.
Graduated?
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking too. Is that like she's been graduated, but nobody at school when she goes to the dance seems to know who she is. So I'm kind of like, okay, maybe she didn't go to this high school, or maybe she goes to another school. Actually, no, I think they do say that she goes to an all-girls high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why. No idea. It is what it is. I was just kind of like, why did he take his sister? Like,
Okay,
it's
so
just
that was interesting because I remember seeing her. I'm like, who is this girl again? Oh, isn't that lady's friend? Like she did the makeup on her. Yeah, okay. And like even when she did the makeup stuff, I thought it was just that makes sense that it's his sister. Okay, I missed that.
one thing that I liked too. Obviously, like young Gabrielle Union. Like, come on now, like this is where it all started, right? Like she's amazing. I love Gabrielle Union. But the scene with the staircase is so iconic for a staircase that only has 3 steps that are visible. Like when she walks down, it's like so slow, and I'm like, there are literally 3 steps. Like from all like the parodies I've seen from this, whether it's in cartoons or whether it's not another teen movie, whatever it is, the staircase is like way longer than what it was. But that glow up was something serious, and it's kind of crazy. It's like, let's take the glasses off, let's give her a fresh haircut, take the paint overalls off, boom, you have a new Lainey Boggs. It's like
I didn't like the haircut. I'm gonna say it.
no,
I
not a
liked her
Bob
long hair
guy.
more.
Oof,
I
tough
liked her long hair
crowd.
more. Glow up, don't
Tough
get me wrong,
crowd.
but even that scene, I was thinking, I'm like, oh, this is where this must be where this came from, sort of thing. And then of course, Kiss Me playing in the background, that's very iconic as
Yes.
well.
Yeah, definitely. Um, another thing too, like I get we have to go for I guess it's all for exposition, but like we've just watched the whole movie up until this point. We're rapping as a recap before the final act of the show of the movie. Like in the courtyard, they have like 2 dudes that are just rapping about what's going on with the prom race. And it just brought me to be like, dude, like, was prom something serious back in the 90s? Because when I was in high school, like we called 3 different dudes to be prom king because they kept leaving. Like nobody cared about like prom king, prom queen. And now it's literally the most central theme of this movie.
I wonder if it's
So
like big schools cared or something, maybe, or like preppy schools. I couldn't.
When I get to my part, I'll kind of it's a culture shift with that. I think in the
okay.
age gap.
He's
So
just gonna say white people, man.
I'm
That's
not.
fair.
I'm
That's
not.
fair.
I'm not
No,
gonna say white people. Like
Sharon's
usually,
gonna say
I will attack white people. I'm good at it. Like you know what I mean. Like I'm married to one, so I attack him all the time. But it's not gonna be white people.
I'm just teasing, but
I
yeah, I didn't even, my school was so small, I didn't even have any of that. So
oh wow. Yeah, you're not missing much, let's be honest. Those little superlatives are really dumb. Maybe I'm salty, I don't know. Another thing too, Zach's kind of manipulative. Like she was very much like, "Don't come in my house," and he's like, "Hey, little brother, do you want to play Sega?" Like he's like really like super manipulative that way. He's like, "Look, I'm gonna get into your house regardless. Like I'm gonna help either A, help your dad with the pool, or B, I'm gonna play Sega with your little brother. You will talk to me. That is what's going to happen."
and it's not even like manipulative of getting in the house, it's manipulative in the sense of like not taking no for an answer. That's
Right.
pretty toxic masculinity there, right there.
Well, he is the alpha at the school, apparently, which is very strange from the soccer captain, but that is neither here nor there. I guess during this golden age of soccer, from 1999 to 2007, like if you were playing soccer, you were it. Because when I went to high school, if you were playing soccer, you were on drugs. So it's very different vibes now. My last thing that I wanted to talk about too is, can I get the definition of wigging? One of the characters clarifies, like, says like, you're wigging, and I don't know what that means.
You're
Like
wigging out. You're freaking out.
Yeah,
You're freaking out.
Oh,
You're wigging
okay.
out.
Yeah.
Just
Even
say
I've heard
freaking.
that.
Just say freaking out.
No,
Like,
no, this is white peopling at its finest right here. Where you
I
try to
believe
shorten up.
I feel like that was like a 90s thing. You're wigging, or early 2000s, you're wigging out. I've definitely heard that. It's, yeah, you're freaking out.
I feel like we did not need to use wigging as anything,
I
like
agree. I agree. It
agree.
doesn't seem.
Hard
I'm glad that
pass.
it doesn't exist anymore. Because now it's like,
Right.
dude, why are you so pressed or
Maybe it's
whatever
up
it
to us
is?
to bring it back.
Yeah. I think that's it. No, another thing too, I like the hacky sack thing. That was the last thing I wanted to add in there. I thought the hacky sack thing does pretty well for the exposition between the dad and him, and kind of gives us like, okay, he's not perfect. He's got some chinks in the armor, and that's how it goes. It is, it is what it is. And then he has something to work through, and then now him and Lainey can bond because they both have a newfound appreciation for the arts, and she realizes that he's not perfect like she assumes he is, and now they can bond over their flaws.
Like from his hacky sack performance in front of all the art people.
Yes. Yeah, I thought that was fine. I thought it, and I know it's really sounds kind of dumb because when you watch the scene, it's just him like it's literally him repeating pressure.
But it's more him speaking about it, yeah, than the hacky sack itself. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like, don't get it twisted. I mean, hacky sack skills are hard to come by. But like the overall performance of it, like it was just him being honest with himself for the first time in almost the entire film, because he's literally lying to her almost the entire time that they're talking in the beginning. And then at that performance, he's like forced himself to be honest, and it's like it worked. I don't know, it worked for me. I was happy with that scene, and then from there I was able to kind of get more invested. So it was good. Now here comes the final tag to Mr. Tehran.
Well, we got Tehran here. Yeah. Sorry, I thought we were gonna say final movie. Sorry. Tehran.
I'm gonna tag in on this one here. So
Yes,
look, with a movie like this movie 1999, man, like it was a coming of age movie, man. Like after you saw this movie, I saw this in theaters, to be very honest with you. And after you saw this movie, no other movie could be made like this and have the same impact. Like, and it was so simple. It was a lot of simple things happening at one time. The casting was awesome. The casting was so good that Rachel Lee Cook couldn't do another movie.
Huh.
Like, you know, like she really didn't find another role because she will always be known for this role here. I look deeper into the movie, past the glow up, past the like the general message of it. And in the movie, if you notice that pretty much all the major cast members had some type of growth. Did y'all notice the dad had growth? The little brother had growth.
Did Paul Walker grow, or did his eardrums just shatter?
His eardrum shattered. And I don't really consider him like, I mean, he was the villain, right? Right. Well, I'll kind of challenge that. Who's the villain? I'll get there in a second. But I mean, all in all, I just saw growth from everybody. Lacey was beautiful the way she was, to be very honest with you, right?
Yeah.
You know, they didn't really change much. To be very honest with you, they didn't really change much. They just changed her clothes and just changed her hair. And the whole message was beauty is actually on the inside. Like, right. Because Lacey in the overalls with the bun was still sexy, hot, funny. Like she was.
That was like my first point. She's cute. That's a cute girl.
That's it. She was all those things. All you did was just put some clothes on her, right? So that just kind of shows you that beauty is from within. You know, the pressure thing, the spoken word that Freddie Prinze was doing, that was kind of cool too, because it actually broke the mold of the quote like toxic kind of like masculinity thing. He kind of admitted that no, I'm not perfect. Like, and that was his character growth right there. I was bought into him instantaneously. I was like, okay, you know, he's the hero of the movie, but in the same breath, he's the villain as well. He's the biggest villain. He, like you just said, manipulative. He at any time he could have stopped this game. You know, at any time he could have said, no, this isn't right. Let me tell you what's really going on. I still want you to be great, but I want you to be great the way you feel comfortable with your greatness. You know, like, so he's kind of the hero and the villain at the same time, but still growed a lot. Just all in all, this movie did a lot for people. Like, a lot of people reference this movie in a lot of different ways. And Kiss Me was the song of the late 90s, early 2000s, man. Like Sixpence None the Richer got rich off of this one song. It's iconic. They played it at our, you know what I mean? They played it at our high school prom. You were asking earlier about proms. 99 was the prom. Like, I think after that, nobody cared. Like, my prom was crazy. Like, I mean, I was nominated for, you know, like prom king and shit like that, but the guy that won definitely deserved it. He was special needs guy, but he was
cool.
still super popular. Like, you know what I mean? Like he was like the man. So we weren't gonna beat him out anyway. Like, you know.
Do you want to hear a funny
um,
story about my prom?
what?
Well, not only did I go with a group of friends, so not a date. I went to the bathroom to wash my hands because I accidentally got some like food on them,
Mhm.
and this girl like was totally getting railed out in the bathroom at the convention center, and we were like, I left. I was like, dude, like I don't know who's in there, but somebody they're getting it on in there, and all of a sudden like my pervy ass friends like went in there and were like, they were like, no way, like they were like they didn't expose them or anything, but like they didn't believe me at first. So like a group of 5 like rushed into the men's room and like saw their feet and shit, and I could hear it. And then we all left. We were like, give them some space, I guess. Like this is fucking weird.
What I hate about the prom, the idea of the prom, and I'm kind of happy that the prom's kind of like diluted itself, is the whole legend was that's where you lose your virginity is your prom, right? So you had this big old idea of,
Even in the
oh my
bathroom.
God, I'm gonna go and like do this amazing thing at the prom. For me, it was very awkward because short story, I went to the prom with the girl, which was my friend, but I was dating a baseball player on the opposite school team that was there with another girl that was his
Ooh.
friend. So like it was very awkward for me. And you know what? All of that pressure, we all went home and we all went to the hotel room and just went to sleep. Nobody did
Oh,
any screwing. Okay.
oh,
Like with no screwing whatsoever. Zero
God
screwing.
damn. That's
Like,
crazy to think
so,
about.
but the pressure was there. Like, people say, oh yeah, we're going to the hotel, we're gonna get drunk, we're gonna do this and go do that. I mean, it was just a good time. My prom was very memorable. It was just a lot of,
Yeah.
I remember at my prom, to be very honest with you, the best part was when they did the last dance of the night, that my ex and I got to dance together and nobody noticed.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That is
Like,
cool.
so that was pretty cool. Like, so I mean, the movie in itself is a trailblazer to me. It's something I hold near and dear to my heart. And I think it will stand the test of time. Like if you go back and look at this movie, the movie was so well made. It has such prominent cast of people. I think you could go back and watch it in 15 years. And I mean, it'll still be good. It'll be one of those films
I
you go back and
agree.
you think about. Um, um, just for example, just you can watch Purple Rain anytime. Like I can watch Purple Rain any day of the week and love it. Like, I love that movie.
Now,
I think you'll be able to watch
when you
this as
originally
well.
said stand the test of time, like I sort of more meant will this movie still be within pop culture or be known in the forefront? And I think,
Oh,
but I think that scene will be like her coming down the
Yeah.
stairs, the Kiss Me playing, like that's what this movie. It's like for better or for worse, that's what this movie's known for, right? Like that one iconic scene.
but I don't want
Agreed.
little girls out there or little boys, or little thems, right? I don't want anybody
Mhm.
out there to think that, you have to have a pretty red dress and a makeover to be amazing. Like, right? Lacey was amazing before the red dress.
I
Lacey
agree.
was
Yeah.
still Lacey in the red dress. Like that's
Lane,
the part I think people seem to forget. Like she was still Lacey. The dress, the hair didn't change her. She was still her goofy self. Her personality and her cadence never changed.
wasn't it Laney? Laney Boggs?
Lainey. I'm sorry, I said
We
Lacey.
call her Lacey this whole time.
Yeah, Lainey.
No, I
Um,
agree. Like even in the overalls when they're like picking, and I'm like this. There's no way this girl would not be popular in school, anyways, or have some friends or something because she's a good-looking girl. Like you can't hide good looks under what they were trying to hide it under, basically.
right. And
Yeah.
Taylor Vaughn was a bitch. Like, you know what I mean? And she deserves
Thank
everything.
you.
She deserves everything she's gonna get in life because
She was
she's
very good at it, though.
oh right. Like I mean, now, honestly, in real life, in high school, all of my girlfriends were Taylors. Like they were
Oh
they
my
were really
God.
fucking bitchy. Like,
Dude,
and I Yeah, I was the leader of that posse. Like,
Oh my God. When
right.
I was watching it, and she was like, "Yeah, we're still gonna go to prom together, right?" I was like, "Why?" Like I was like outwardly like yelling at the TV. I was like, "Why the fuck is he doing any of this?" Like it's just, I'm like, dude. I mean, he was cool about it. Like he told her to kind of like go away, whatever. But even when they dance at the prom, I'm like, why would he even let her have the chance? Like,
Yeah, that's what I was sort of thinking. And they obviously they did that to build the tension between him and Lainey, but I thought that too. I'm like, okay, even if whatever, but why would he even dance with her? Like that blew me away. That was like, okay, that but there's that Freddie Prinze Jr. Has he grown? Maybe he hasn't. Maybe he's still the villain. Maybe
he's gonna
lying.
go to art school. He's gonna say no to Dartmouth, no to Harvard, and he's gonna go to art school with her and become an
Well, you're a
actor or something.
fuck if you do that. Go to Harvard and become rich and then take her wherever you want, buddy. Come on. Also, speaking of manipulative, she was even worse than he was.
Oh, Taylor?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, mega bitch. Like she was terrible. Terrible person. She's a horrible person, like hands down. But I mean, I am not a horrible person, disclaimer. I just like people with those type of personalities. They're just funny to watch. Like I like to watch them work. Because they're
They
just
just
they're
take.
hot messes.
That's what they do. Or truly, they just take what they want. Those
They're
types
just
of
hot
people.
messes. All of them just hot fucking shitty messes, and wonder why nothing ever works for them.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. Let's take a quick break. We'll recap and then we can come back and we'll finish the last film.
So welcome back, ladies and germs. So look, this last movie is called Spring, not the 2021 edition, it's the 2014 edition. It was an hour and 49 minutes. And it was actually probably the best hour and 49 minutes I've had in a very long time watching it.
Oh, wow.
Like, so for me, this cast was a no-name cast, you know, like, so I'm not even
This
go
was an
through all the
indie film, actually.
huh.
It was an indie
Yeah.
film, as far as I know. And fun
Right.
fact, before we get into the cast, the main guy, I can't think of his name. Poochie is Lucci, whatever his last name is. He was actually in the Evil Dead remake, which I didn't know until I was looking this movie up.
Lou Taylor Pucci is his name.
Yes, correct.
Right. So look, man, I did not know what to expect with Spring. Now, mind you, I've owned this movie for a very long time.
Oh wow.
I have it. I have the movie on DVD.
Really? That's
in my
random.
home.
Why?
I don't know. Like it was just I used to work at a Blockbuster Video back in the day.
Oh, fair enough.
So, you know, like I have a whole bunch of like weird movies and shit like that I didn't even know I owned. Like so I flipped through my book and I'm like, oh, well, yeah, here it is, you know. So this movie told a great story. Evan, which is the main character, just loss and death like just surrounds him. And the weight of the world, you can literally feel it crashing down on his shoulders. You know, obviously any of these movies we're talking about, I mean, spoilers, duh, like, you know what I mean? But you can still watch the movie to get the full effect. We just giving you kind of like the cliff notes. But this man watched his mom die in front of him, like her last breath. Like
that's how we open the movie. That's a heavy fucking open, man.
Right. So at this point, I'm watching it, mind you, and I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. Like this bullshit. Like I don't want to see a whole bunch of like death, and you know, like it just it's rough to watch. He's going through it. Just all the emotions of losing somebody, and you can tell like he's had multiple losses even before they tell you, just because of the way he reacts in the bar. He's a time bomb. Like he just needs a release. The one of the best parts of the movie to me was he was going through his whole rant. He had a girlfriend over, he called, they about to get into it. Shout out to the person that picked this movie, because y'all know I love a movie with some titties. It was titties in the movie. Like, bam. I was like, okay, titties, we good. But titties aside, the conversation was great because the female character challenged him in a way where he didn't even expect. He was like, his brain couldn't even process it. He was like, I just want to have sex, and just passed out. Like they didn't even have sex. She just cuddled with him. She told him that he needed to just get away and do something different. All in all, it was just parts of the movie that was just soft and subtle and fun to watch. The journey in Italy was just amazing to watch. The friends he met on the way, but it was the part when he was driving and he saw the sunset and it took him back to a place where just tears was rolling down his eyes. And the guy that was riding with him didn't even understand why. He thought it was over some pussy, and it was not. It was a whole nother situation. The first interaction between Luis and Evan, which is the female opposite of him in the movie, you saw the chemistry instantaneously. The wordplay and the banter was amazing between them. You could see the story, and again, you just like, okay, death. Okay, so in your mind, you think, okay, his mom died. He's gonna run off to Italy and find this amazing relationship, and she's probably gonna be some broken whore, and he's just gonna just renew her. That's what you think. That's what the movie kind of sets you up for. But oh no, bitch. The part that really, I'm fast forwarding through some things, but the part that really got me is when he saw her on the floor in her true form. He was shocked, but still willing to jump in and help her. He cared so much about her that he was like, no, I got to help you. And it took him a minute to process what was going on, but he still accepted her right in that moment for who she was. Like that amount of loss that he had, he still wanted to love, even though he knew that he could still lose something. Like, and then it's a couple parts I'm just not going to talk about because these are the big parts, but learning her origin and learning her parents' fate and what happened to Luis's parents and seeing how the movie ends is the most epic part of the whole journey. The ending to me just was the cherry on top. I was like, wow. All in all, Clark has swerved me again with a amazing choice on his romantic rom-com for Valentine's Day. This movie here, I would recommend anybody to watch it because you don't know. You have no idea what this movie brings. Starts off slow and it puts the pedal to the fucking metal real quick. The only thing I'm going to challenge you guys with is the old man's wife on the farm. Who is his wife?
Oh, do you think? I never thought.
I wrote that. I had the same question.
Who was his wife?
You think it was Luis?
Because
I think it was a past incarnation of her.
Yeah.
Luis had a many faces and lived a many lives. And
Jesus, this is why I do this. I love that. I've seen this movie a few times and I've never thought that.
Right.
Never even crossed my mind once.
To me, and I think that in the back of the farmer's mind, because he was talking about love, he said, I fell in love with this Italian girl. He was like, Italian women are the best, blah, 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 blah. They have a back and forth banter. Right. I think towards the end of the situation, when they were sharing a drink and looking out to the ocean, I think that the farmer kind of had an idea. Right. I think the farmer knew what was going on. The other thing is the weird bitch with the eye. Okay, girl. Okay. KO spooky ass.
The old woman, you mean?
Right, yeah. Like KO spooky ass somewhere else.
Watch her.
Now in my mind, again, I'm just trying to make sure because the plot point, the turn is so big. I don't want to, you can't talk but so much like about the middle, like what's happened to Luis to make her such an amazing character. Honestly, probably one of my in my top favorite characters in a movie. Just
oh wow,
her struggle. Yeah, like I really attached to her because the faces that she carried, like the struggle that she carried and the weight that she carries. It shows that she's a strong woman from gate, right? She understood what she had to do to survive. Like, you know, she was like, this is what I have to do to survive. I thought that the old woman did something to her. Like, I thought this was the old woman's fault.
Like it was a curse
But
or something.
yeah, you know, because
Mm.
that eye, anytime you see a bitch with an eye like that, run. Okay. Nope. Your dick will fall off. So,
Damn.
all in all, you know, I'm just gonna leave it at this. Luis is an amazing character. Don't go out there trying to sexually assault women because you will get your dick ripped off. Okay, so
Easy
if I have to
enough.
rate this movie, Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, Metacritic, I think it's between the 70s and 80s. I'm gonna chime right in, you know, at probably like in the 80, 85, you know, like for me, like it was really, really good. I wanted to know more about Luis. I guess that's what I wanted more of. Like, because when we learned about Luis, it happened so quickly. I wish they would have kind of took their time with that a little bit more so we could just understand. But I mean, Clark, everybody know you picked this movie. Like, you know, like we already you've outdone yourself again, sir.
I want to take this. I got recommended this movie by a friend years ago, and I went in completely blind, watched it, and was blown away like you were. Fell in love with the characters, like you said, Evan, Luis, Antonio, even the guys that Evan originally pairs up with and goes for a trip with. Like, they're also authentic. The dialogue is just so good. It's so believable. Even him and Luis's banter, like it's realistic. It doesn't seem like a movie. I I can't go on about the characters enough. Like, I love Luis, I love Evan, his hardships. Now you're saying he's a loose cannon ready to go, but to be fair, even the guy in the beginning with the hat and the gangster guy that Evan beats up, he was gonna bottle his friend. Like, Evan had every right to beat the shit out of that guy.
Right.
And I think
Totally.
it's so funny that this piece of shit gangster kind of guy who rolls by Evan's house later is like, "Fuck you! Now I know where you live." Calls the cops on him, of course. And I like what you said, that his hookup ends up saying do something different, so he bounces. He goes for a seemingly fun trip with some strangers, which I think we've all had interesting conversations with strangers while we're on our travels. Very realistic, very good. Um, Other things that I liked. Oh, I wrote down because I noticed his hand was really messed up after just two punches, but then the guy had a grill, so that makes sense. Um, I didn't like the American characters that they brought in for Luis to kill
Yeah.
because they were just fodder to kill. And it was literally within 5 minutes of them being introduced, they get killed. That annoyed me. I wish they would have just been random people. You don't even have to introduce them. Don't have to make them obnoxious or anything, right? Like, they did
Yeah.
that so that they deserve to die and whatever
Right.
else, without painting Luis as a villain per se. Now, to your point, T, of him helping her when she was in her monster form, right before that, she had broken up with him, and he said, "I think you're the love of my life." So, to
Yeah.
be fair, if he truly believed that, which he did, I believed he would help. But man, like, yeah, just this movie is very emotional and just it's very happy too. Like, it makes you go, man, I want that, or I want an experience like that, or you know. And another thing I noticed, when they're walking past all the dead people that are lined up, I don't know where they were, and Luis explains to him,
Right.
because she's a monster that changes every 20 years. For a little backstory, spoilers, you shouldn't be watching this if you don't know the movies anyways. Watch them first, then listen to our review. Put that at the front of the podcast.
Disclaimer. Yeah. Got you. I
Disclaimer.
got you.
Um, she explains that she has to fall in love with him, and then that will stop her from transforming into the next creature. And every 20 years she has to get pregnant. Her body eats basically her embryonic cells, and she lives forever. She's always 20 years old. So when you first meet her, she has no interest. She's trying to take him home, and that's it. And he's like, "No, go on a date with me." And she's like, "No." And it makes you that really sucked me in. I'm like, what's going on? Like, why she? And of course, he calls out, "You're a hooker, you're a prostitute, whatever." But obviously, there's more to it. But that really sucked me in. It's like, what's going on? What's with this girl? Like, I love the mystery and how they slowly introduce the relationship. But when they're in that place and she explains that she needs to be in love with him, I noticed all throughout the film, flowers and plants around her are blooming, and when she's a monster, they die. But when things are like she's enjoying herself with Evan, they just bloom instead. And I
Mhm.
noticed she picked a flower when they were in that catacomb or whatever it was, and it didn't do anything. And she set it on the railing and it did nothing. And to me, that's a tease that she was in love with him then.
Right. No, totally.
Despite her
Actually,
despite her saying that she wasn't in love, and spoiler at the end, she is in love and she doesn't transform basically, and she stays her human self. And I love that scene too, how she sits with his head on in the sunset. Once again, lots of sunsets being very deep imagery in this movie. And it's zooming
mhm.
in until you can't see her. And then you hear her sort of changing. And then the first thing you see is her hand. And her hand's just normal. And then he looks down and there she is. She smiles at him and hooray, happy
Mhm.
ending.
Clark, oh,
Fuck
hold
man.
on, but Clark, what you didn't catch is the volcano.
Oh yes, right. The volcano erupted as well, which was something that Antonio
Hmm.
said earlier that no, it hasn't erupted in forever or whatever it may be.
Hmm.
Do you think that was a
Mhm.
direct result of her as well?
Most definitely,
Absolutely.
absolutely,
That's sort of what
absolutely.
I thought as well. So the fact
Because
she
if you,
didn't brought it up.
her mom's journey involved a volcano. She was very she talked about the volcano very in detail with her
Yep.
mom, like, so it was kind of just amazing watching this all go through.
It's so many little things you can pick out, but the thing on this rewatch, I really, like I said, that flower, and I'm like, oh, it didn't do nothing. And that's the first time we
Right.
saw a plant not react to her. So to me, that proved
Mhm.
that she was in love with him at that point, which was shortly before the
Yeah.
end, anyways. But man, all right,
Mhm.
Jacoby, there you go.
Yeah. No, like so honestly, like to add on to this, right? So I'm watching it through and kind of I foreluded it, when we were off air with Mike earlier. Um at first I really wasn't into it until the characters Sam and Tom are introduced, like when he's actually in Europe. Um I was like, okay, like this is kind of heavy for a romantic comedy because originally I was like this is a comedy film and it was not.
Unfortunately, it's just romance.
Um yeah. And so, you know what I mean? It in the car, like, so I was under the impression I didn't even watch the trailer for this film. So like I didn't really know. I went into this blind, which was probably the best way to do it.
Hmm.
Um, and so I'm thinking it's gonna be like a buddy thing, and then eventually he's gonna run into this chick, and then it's gonna go from there, right? With his obnoxious new friends kind of, coming in and out. They're comic relief. And it he's like I don't want to undersell how important those two guys are originally because they kind of set the tone for his like adventurousness or like how it's not a bad thing to be in tune with your emotions because when he's in the car he starts to tear up a little bit and Tom says, and I have it written down here, Tom looks at him and he's like, you got to be like me, a man who shows emotion, like one and one with himself. And I'm like, that's solid advice for anybody, but for a guy like this who's about to just start grieving and has so much pent up in him, so much frustration and bottled rage and everything, like that is something that he truly had to take to heart to really enjoy his time while in Italy. Obviously, it's like the next scene, or they go out, whatever. Actually, before I move on, I want to talk about the one scene that really got me. There's a lot of really good direction in this film. And I know it has two directors, and one of them's the screenwriter, which is really cool. But there's a scene when Evan, the main character, is following his new friends through this courtyard where he first sees Louise sitting down. Right. So what happens is it's a long track shot behind them with a steady cam, and it's all slow mo. And as they're walking, it pans up to this bell where they obviously cut, and then they have her introduced as she turns and then walks this way. Right. And I was like, there's something about that that really works because it's kind of like a Lady in Red type deal where it's like, you know, who is this woman? And then eventually you meet her, you know what I mean? You see her again and she's in red. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's kind of film schooly, whatever, but it's like, it's very like, okay, this is where it's going to go. He's walking this way now, but this is where it's going to end up.
That scene though, Jake, if you notice, they did put her in red, but they put her in the shade of red. They put her in a peach or a pink, and that the color, people don't realize what colors and sounds do for you in the movie. Like really how they
sure. For sure.
It was crazy because that vintage like Italian like brick and stone, she stood out. Like so when you saw her, it was just like, notice me, like, you know what I mean?
Well, one thing I also noticed, you're speaking about them making Louise stand out, is everybody's in neutral washed out colors like beiges, grays, browns, things like that really blend in with the stone. And they also give you a bit of a red herring because they look over at some guys as well before they look at her. I believe they look at some guys, they look at the bell, and then they look at Louise, and the only color is her and really the plants.
Another thing that I wanted to talk about too was the shot where she transforms and she's in the bathroom and it's blood in the sink. There's blood coming down the shower and she is kind of like in a in a sit up fetal position. That scene is super impactful because it's like, obviously we're starting to learn more about her and her condition, so to speak. And like, you know, you're kind of like, what the hell? Cause like you've seen it a couple times. You're trying to figure out like what she is or whatever. And then, you know, it just comes into this thing where you can obviously tell it's not voluntary. Like it comes at like the worst times and she just can't control it. And she has to resort to doing, you know, to the shots. She has to resort to hiding everything and running. And she obviously can't get close to people. And it's like in that scene, you know, you can kind of tell like, she's like, oh, I kind of like this guy. But because of the environment I'm in this bloody shower, she's, you know, you can just kind of feel that, or at least I was feeling that immense emotion from her where it's like, there's nothing I can do. I'm in a lose-lose situation. I can't hang out with this dude as much as I want to because I might kill him. Or two, I like him, but I don't know if it's just lust and not love. Like it's one of those things. It's like she wants to do what's best for him as opposed to doing what's best for herself because she doesn't want to take the risk.
It was a little bit of selfishness though too, because she makes like a lot of conversation about wanting to live forever.
Yeah.
Yep. She kept saying it over and over.
She's afraid of death.
Die.
She's afraid of death. Yeah. And I think a lot of that comes from her parents as well. And like, who knows where the origin of this. Another thing, you spoke about sounds in movies. I love the music. It's just a simple couple of dings on a piano. And it's emotional.
Super minimalist.
Yep. The another part that that really drawn out to me is I felt like her monster size was always trying to kill him.
Yeah.
If you notice, like it would just always attack him. Like, you know, because I think that the monster side of her was selfish. Like, you know,
oh yeah.
So the monster wanted to defend itself. Like, you know, like the squid. It damaged his hand. Like in the church, the tail was trying to stab him in the neck. Like, just
that was also great when she put her shot in and then it showed the other two people. What's the matter? I just saw a zombie doing heroin. I really enjoyed it.
Right.
Another thing I want to talk about too, and this is a credit to their G&E team. The scene where in the beginning where he has the booty call and he falls asleep or whatever, and it goes from being dark to being light really quickly.
I love that.
And he's laying down.
I love that cut. I was gonna say that actually.
Yeah. That cut is really good, and it's a complete testament to their electric team because they literally cut it as she's next to him, you know, they're kind of cuddling, whatever. And then immediately they're like, okay, cut, stay where you are. Don't fucking move. We're going to move this lighting in here and we're going to shoot it and then you'll be fine. And like, you know, from a PA perspective, you're probably like, I know if I was there and I'd been shooting for a 12-hour day, I'd been like, really? Like, what's the point? But then you watch it on that and you're like, yeah, whatever, you know, even if it's just a 5-second thing, it's like a testament to the production crew for that kind of a shot. And I just wanted to shout them out because that was so good to me. I was like, oh wow, like this isn't you know, you get that with indie films a lot, but I was like, dang, like they actually really cared about this. Like you could tell it was a passion project from, you know, the two directors and stuff. Um, the last thing that I wrote down is so I love the church scene a lot because he doesn't go to church and stuff. And she's kind of like going through all this history and different things like that, because obviously she's more on science side of things because of her own self condition and trying to pacify that. But my synopsis of this is literally, it's just two lonely people spend what could be the last moments of one of their lives together, and you just go through it and they're honest, they're grieving. It's super impactful and oddly beautiful in the best way. um that's the best way I can take out of it. And then there are a lot of like different quips when they talk in their conversations too. Like they talk about jobs because he's so unsatisfied with his current job as a sous chef or whatever. And she's like, you know, she mentions to him, she was like, I never, she say, I have it written down right here. She
No
says,
jobs are worth the time or something.
that's exactly what it was. Yeah. She was like, I've had many jobs and none of them have meant more than missing my time. And I'm like, no, totally. Like that is something that every, you know, early to mid 20-year-old needs to know. And that's that, like, hey, look, like your job that you're doing right now, it's not worth missing out on living.
Yeah,
You know?
she said he said it's very European of you, that her thought process.
Right.
And
Which is so funny if you
it's the
compare and
truth. Like,
contrast.
you know,
Yeah.
I lived in England for what, 3 years. Like, you know, like, and the way they think of work is nowhere like we think of work here. Like how we think of work is just so primitive. Like, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Everyone romanticizes working, like overworking, and it's ridiculous. Like I'd rather, you know, work 20 hours a week and make a comfortable living than be completely rich but working 80 hours a week or something, right?
Correct.
It's
Correct.
true.
Correct. Like,
It's
so
ridiculous. Another thing I really liked in this movie too is their back to their banter is like her just trying to cheer him up after he tells her about his parents dying, and she's like, oh, you have the same backstory as Batman, sort of thing. And
Yeah.
later when she is getting emotional with him talking about her parents, he says, oh, you have the same backstory as Harry Potter. I think that's really a fun play with each other. And like, I don't know, I just think the dialogue is very good, very well written.
Yeah.
I'm just
Another
saying,
good one.
oh, hold on, Jake. Wait a minute.
No, you're
Wait,
fine.
hold
Go,
on.
please.
I'm just
Please
saying that this man found pussy so good that he just risked it all. Like, that's it.
That's
Like
love, man. That's not
the
pussy.
pussy was so good. That shit was a monster. Like he said, this shit is good, and I want it forever. Like, you know
I was
what I
gonna
mean?
say about Antonio, like I don't know. I like the idea that maybe Louise was his wife at one point in time or whatever and died in a car accident, so she could have lied about that, right? But to me, Antonio was really the testament of love. That's sort of when he found out that she was a monster and he's like fuck this. And it's funny how he's chasing her for so much of the movie, and then he sees her as a monster and saves her. She ends up chasing him because he leaves and she's like, no, wait, Evan, come here. And they're fucking walking around and she's trying to explain, she's following him, like she's wanting him.
And he's like cussing her out. Like
when he gets the moment, the thing he sees, I can't even, Antonio again, mourning, crying for his wife essentially. And he goes, okay, you know what? I really do love this person no matter what the monster or whatever. Love is love. That's sort of where I think Antonio's very important. And also, Antonio, what an endearing ass old man. What a fucking cool guy. I love Antonio. Also, love the scene where he's like leaving and he's like, oh, is that immigration? C. Should I be running? C. And then he just fucking takes off. As if immigration wouldn't see him and chase after him.
Right.
But I love Antonio.
Antonio's definitely the MVP. My favorite was the tree ride. And he was just like, oh, do you have some special, you know, something that you could go bury a goat's head or something?
Yeah.
He's like, no, I got antifungal stuff in the garage.
Spray or something, he said, yeah.
You know, so it was super simple. This movie was a great pick again. Like, hats off to the people that made this movie. And I also want to kind of blend it all into what we do, right? Like, I just want everybody to take a note. We see shitty video games, right? Made by big companies. We see shitty wrestling product made by big companies. We see, shitty movies, blah, blah, blah. When the independents get together in any form, right? And create something, they create magic. Like, it's so much love and passion and focus on what is done, like, in the process to entertain us as fans. So again, just to bring it back, support your indies, support your indie wrestling, support your indie video games, support your indie movies, support, because they give a fuck. It's not about the dollar.
Facts.
Give your money to those mom and pop shops. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? All day. And also support your independent podcast. Okay, bitch. This space here, like, it's very independent. Like,
Yikes.
Jake's face, you want to Sarah McLachlan sings when he talks.
Ooh, wow. Dang. No love. No love.
Right, it's okay. And, Sarah McLachlan also sings when Clark wears shorts. So, like, it's okay. Like,
yikes. Brings it back in.
Also, qualm about Spring, the CGI, but I mean, it's an indie film. It didn't take away. It's a romance movie first and a monster movie second.
Clark, okay. Don't bring that CGI up, because that shit was.
It was.
It's pretty bad.
I said qualms, right?
No, I'm just saying, like, ooh, I mean, I'm trying to. Oh.
But this movie's not about that. At least that's the nice thing. It's really not.
They spent a lot of money on the octopus. They They really did.
That was where it all went. Yeah, everything else is very choppy and not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
man.
Jacoby, you got anything else?
No, I mean, really, just okay. No, I can't not talk about this. Screw the bunny scene. Couldn't watch it. Had to leave the room. That's it. That's all I got to say.
She did make a mention later on that she was having trouble this specific time with her changing, being a little more unpredictable, and she was trying anything, even the occult, and that's what the bunny stuff was occult. So
hey, it was what it was. She had to do what she had to do. I was like, dude, what? Like I was so like, damn. And not only that, she does it to one. Well, obviously she gets to two, but like she gives the one instead, like in front of the other one. I'm like, bro, just take them out at the same time. Like,
all
it's
I'm
too
saying
much.
is there's a part in this movie where I actually fell asleep for like 5 minutes. I'm not gonna lie about that either. Like, 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Probably longer than that. You missed half the movie. Christ.
Look, fucking power nap. I was right back in it, dude. I was like, oh. We're here.
Come on.
Got it.
Yeah, right.
It was good. Like when I woke up, we were on it.
It's masterpiece.
We were on it. So
on a scale of 5, I'll give it a 4. She's all that. I probably give a 3. She's the man. I'm giving it a 3. I don't care. It's quotable. I need quotability. The quotes aren't hilarious.
This is tough. I hate giving numbers and stuff, but she's the man is a 2. She's all that. I'd agree with 3, and Spring, like, man, 4.5.
Okay.
I'll start with Spring, Spring is definitely a 4, hands down. She's all that is definitely 3.5, and She's the Man is a 2. Like, Nate's gonna shit his pants when he listens to this, because She's the Man is one of his favorite movies.
Thank you. Where was he?
Because he's a child of the 90s, and for me, I can't relate, so I'm good. Like, hard pass. So, ladies and germs, you've hung out with us for a little while. You got to hear these wonderful movie reviews. We want to thank Michael Allen Richard Clark. As always, a pleasure being in your presence, sir. We appreciate you always. Jacoby, we thank you as well for your shitty ass movie selection, because he's the one that picked She's All. He's the one that picked She's the Man.
Thank you.
And then I picked She's All That. Because hey, we need a good movie.
Oh my God.
a good rom-com.
What's
No.
the next one? Do we do bad movies on purpose? Like search out bad movies, or
I can't, look, first of all,
you
I
had mentioned-
can't.
I don't wanna tease this, but Jacoby mentioned something. He has thoughts on The Departed. I don't want to hear right now necessarily, but I'm very curious what they are.
Look, let me tell you
I
something.
mean, I'm down for a Scorsese one of these if we really want to talk about it.
I need some good
Who has
martial
12
arts
hours
movies.
for
Y'all got to
some-
choose. Y'all got to choose a
We
couple
could do cop
categories at the
movies,
start.
right?
No, y'all got to choose different categories already. I get to choose my category, which is martial arts movies. That's what we need to do next.
But I have
All
to
right. Kung Fu Hustle,
right. Martial arts. Jesus, like
Shanghai Nights all day.
Okay, all right. Look, don't spoil it for the fans. Mine's gonna be Kill Bill. So like
that's martial arts. All right.
So we need to do something with some fighting in it. I need to see some
All
blood
right,
and titties.
Fine. I'll do a Karate Kid,
Yikes!
but the one with Hilary Swank though, not the.
Okay,
not the-
you know what, Mr. Clark,
Is boxing a form of martial arts?
No,
Ooh.
Clark.
I
no.
don't have martial arts. I can't even think of a martial arts movie that I've
You
seen.
better figure it out. Figure
You
it
could
out.
probably do Batman Begins, right?
No,
Yeah, there we go.
Nope. Don't help him. He needs to figure it out.
No, but
So-
seriously, if
Shang-Chi.
I pick a movie, it'll probably be one I haven't seen, so I have no idea.
Good luck.
Perfect.
So-
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right.
Right. So, Mr. Clark, can you tell everybody where they can find you?
At Michael Almrich Clark on Instagram, Team Flex Appeal on Twitter, and that's about it, I think.
Okay,
There you
and Mr. Jacoby, where can you find us?
So, selfless plug, you can always find any of our stuff on www.hardestpartpod.com, where they
I'm so
have
proud
all
of that.
links to all of our socials, all of our different Spotify, Spreaker, every link you could possibly imagine. And then, of course, you can always get in contact with us directly, Tehran on Instagram at the Hardest Part of the Ring with an _. And then you can always talk to me about my terrific movie suggestion this go around at the hardest_pod on Twitter, where I will definitely totally read everything and get back to you never. It's just what I do, I guess. Just ignore.
Hey,
ignore
talk to me about movies. I've been going through a bunch of horror movie series and franchises. Feel free to send me yours.
Yes, absolutely. Send him some scary films to watch, and he will surely have something to say, especially
Also
slashers.
Send him efficient leg exercises as well. He really appreciate those.
Oh my goodness.
And
Oh
you know,
my
like since Monday night is not here with us, you can always hit us up on the Monday night hotline at 757-528-2481 with any of your questions, comments, criticisms, and concerns. Monday night loves titties. He also loves male titties. So send those to him because I hate him too.
Oh my God. All right. And until next time, M.A.R.C, thank you for the time, dude. It was awesome.
I enjoy these movie reviews. I love reviewing movies. So, and I love that we talk about this shit and you, for example, you just point out different perspectives. I love hearing everybody's perspective on these things.
You know, one perspective that I have that I still hate you. Okay, America. Thanks. Bye.